Hey, it's Sunshine and wait. Hey, it's Sunshine and I'm back with another YouTube video. Wait, no, maybe I don't need to say it's a YouTube video because I mean obviously we know it's a YouTube video, so I'm just gonna say we're back. We're as in we, yeah, me and the different aspects of myself, we're back. Hey, it's Sunshine and today I'm just gonna do a chit chat. I'm gonna chit chat and talk about overcoming depression. I always knew that I had anxiety. I always knew that anxiety was something that I struggled with. I was really nervous as a child, really nervous, overthought a lot, and anxiety, I for sure knew that that was something that I struggled with. And when it came to anxiety, it would just be like overthinking, and yeah, it would be overthinking. So I would overthink things. I would I would overthink things. I would have like some irrational thoughts and even like intrusive thoughts. So I would like struggle with like having intrusive thoughts where I'm just like, oh my god, like I don't even want to think that. So that's something that I like struggled with, and I was conscious that that was something that I was dealing with, anxiety. And I also struggled really badly with social anxiety. It was really hard for me to connect with people and express myself to other people. I was just like more so mute and really quiet and just to myself, and being able to like outwardly express myself, whether it be through like speaking or even like showing emotions and like holding conversations with people or hanging out with people. Like I will still do those things, but I would feel very, very, very tense. I would feel very tense, very uncomfortable, very awkward. And at the same time too, I was dealing with depression. I wasn't like consciously saying to myself like, okay, like depression is something that I deal with. Depression is something that I struggle with. It was just more so, okay, like life just sucks, life's just crappy, and I gotta deal with it. But it's just now, like it's just recently that I'm understanding and understanding and realizing and even embracing like depression was something that I dealt with. Depression is something that I was going through. The way I dealt with depression, well, the relationship between depression and I was more so like I shut down. So I wasn't expressive. There was a period of time I wasn't expressive. It was hard for me to, like, similar to anxiety, but I felt like with anxiety it was more so just really overwhelmed as to how I would be perceived and overwhelmed as to how I should even show up. But on the end of depression, it was more so just kind of like just not feeling the zest, not feeling a push, not feeling a spark, not really feeling a drive to even like show up. It's just like I felt like I was in a body, right? I just felt like I was in a body, and even being in a body just felt overwhelming. Like it just felt dense. I felt very, 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 I felt irritable, like really irritable, very tense, very irritable, lethargic, and I felt this on a daily, so it's just like, okay, like I'm used to this. And I felt like anytime there was even like I could feel like a peak in emotion, I was almost kind of like, oh, like I shouldn't even be feeling this. I shouldn't be feeling happy. I shouldn't be feeling excited. Like this is so awkward. Like this feels so off, because it was very easy for me to feel down and sad and like angry and irritable. And I'm trying to think of like how I should like structure this video, but honestly, like this is just more of like a chit chat, more of like a you know, I'm talking to you, you're listening to me, and you're also like making your commentary behind the screen. But yeah, so I'm trying to like interview myself and answer my own questions. But I was definitely withdrawn, and I just felt stuck. I feel like the best way to put it was like feeling stuck. I felt stuck. Physically, I felt stuck. I just, like I said, I felt lethargic. I just felt like I was in a body. I felt like I was in a body. And it's so funny because it was around like honestly, like I feel like my junior year, like the very beginning of my junior year, like literally like the first week going into junior year of high school. So this is like 2018. I remember like thinking to myself, like, why do I care so much what other people think? Why am I like, it was just starting to click within me, like I need to stop giving my power away to other people. And I feel like that was kind of the root of it all, like the anxiety and the depression was me giving my power away to other people. It was me feeling like I had to please other people, me feeling like I had to show up and be perceived in this particular way, and it was like as if I had to be perfect and I couldn't have faults, and it started at a very, very early age. I had to grow up really, 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 really quickly. Like, you know, before I was even 5, I had to help take care of my little brother and my little sister, and then again another sister, and also my uncle, because my uncle was younger than me by a year, and like I still was the oldest, you know, so I had all those responsibilities put on me. And not to mention, it was just like so much going on like within my family, and of course that's going to trickle down on me because I'm the oldest child. And when there's a lot of stress on the parents, I feel like parents, they're not, well, not all parents, but a lot of parents, they won't be conscious of like what they say or what they do, how it affects their children or their child. So it's like I was the one that had to deal with like the backlash of other people's stress, you know. And it wasn't fair to me as a child, but I just felt like that feeling of being powerless, it just was carried on for so long. That thought, that mindset of giving my power away to other people, right? And eventually situations outside of myself, thinking like, okay, like what's even the point? I'm just here, right? I'm literally just here. And it wasn't really till junior year that it clicked in me, like I need to stop caring so much what other people think. And I feel like that seed of thought honestly was kind of like the catalyst to me overcoming my depression. And I say this because me caring so much what other people thought or think, I feel like that just was like a cloud as to who I was, right? Thinking like, oh, that's how other people respond to me, how other people react to me, that's a reflection of me or of my worth or of my value or my deserving or non-deserving of love. But then when it really clicked in me, like, you know what, I need to show up for myself. I need to do what makes me happy. I need to speak in a way that makes me feel like sunshine. Once I started moving in the direction of I need to live for me, it was just game on, basically game on. And it was not an overnight thing, because I definitely remember junior year for sure was kind of like that, you know, like I need to stop giving 2 F's as to what other people think. But it was definitely a work in progress, and even now I feel like 100 times better than how I felt 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago was what, 2015. I feel 100 times better than that, and I feel so much better than how I felt 2018. But of course there's always going to be work to be done, right? But even with that too, it's like feeling like there's something that we got to critique and tweak, and it's just like we already are perfect. Even when we are not the best version of ourselves, we still are already perfect. But the beautiful thing with that is that there's so much room to grow and expand and evolve and try on different hats and different perspectives of life, have different perspectives on life and how we can show up within ourselves. So I feel like that thought of like, why am I so concerned as to how other people perceive me? Why am I so concerned as to because especially when, like I said, when I'm the oldest child, I'm my father's only child, but I'm my mother's oldest child. And either way, it was like that you have to be perfect. You cannot make any mistakes. You have to be the one that sets the example. Yes, other people could be coming for you, but you have to be the one that is, you know, never makes a mistake. You have to be more mature. Even if you're being more mature than a person that's like 5 times your age, you have to be more mature. You have to be this, you have to be that. Oh, you can't, like, and it was like, I feel like I couldn't be a child. I feel like I couldn't make mistakes. I couldn't be silly. I couldn't have my moments to be stupid, right? It was like, you have to be perfect. And it was like, of course, naturally, I'm gonna rebel against that because I'm like, I'm a child. Like, I'm a child. I'm still learning. I deserve grace. I deserve mercy for my mistakes. I deserve compassion and understanding for being me. It's honestly like very recently that it clicked to me, because I used to even think that because I was like really quiet, there was a moment of time that I was really, really quiet, because it's so funny, like when I was like a child, like prior to me even becoming like very depressed and anxious, like I was a very outgoing child. I was very social. I was like one of those kids that would literally go up to other random kids and be like, oh hi, and like just start talking to you, or like even start like, you know, touching your hair, or like want to like, you know, socialize and connect. And then of course, like when I became like, you know, depressed and anxious, that did a whole 180. I became really reserved, really to myself, really anxious and nervous. And it was like, but yeah, there was a moment in time where I was like really quiet. And even now people will be like, sometimes be like, oh, like you're, you know, you're quiet, da da da. But it was a time where I was like, no, like I was actually really quiet. Like I wouldn't make any comments, I wouldn't say anything. And I used to think that, okay, in order to overcompensate for that, I have to be very outgoing, very outspoken, very like, you know, just over the top, very grandiose with my personality. And it's like, I'm learning that there are people that are really, really quiet, really, really shy, but they're still loved. There are people that are really outgoing, very, very outspoken, and they're loved. There are people that are very in between, they're still loved. There's people that all different types of personality, they still get recognized, they still get admired, they still get admiration, and most importantly, they are still loved, because it's not only just one particular type of energy that deserves to be recognized and supported and acknowledged and admire and love, right? It's so many different personalities. First of all, there's so many different personalities that exist, point blank period. But it's like, of course, it's not only one particular type of personality that deserves to be, you know, acknowledged and supported and seen. And so I'm learning that I don't have to cure, like, I feel like also too, it's like sometimes we feel like, oh, we gotta curate this personality, or we gotta design, okay, this is exactly how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna talk like this, I'm gonna laugh like this, I'm gonna walk like this. And it's like, it's just more of a being in flow. Like it literally is a flow. It really is a, if I didn't have to even think about, if I didn't even knew I existed, I was just literally a energy, just being me, how would I show up? How would I be without me having to be so conscious and having to be so like nitpicky and overthinking everything that I do? Because I feel like also too, there's like that one side where it's like you're just existing, and then there's that other side where it's like you're super conscious and you're overthinking, and it's like you're thinking every single step. And it's like being in the balance, like being in the middle, being balanced, being in flow, where it's like I'm definitely aware and conscious, like I exist, I know I'm here, but it's like I don't need to literally think out every single step that I do. Like, I don't have to consciously be aware of every single step that I do. It's just literally being in flow, like without just criticism, without critiquing myself, just in pure observation. How would I show up? How do I show up? How do I act? And it's like, of course, if there's something like, I'm not really feeling that I do XYZ, guess what? I have the power to change it. And that's the beautiful thing about recognizing that the power is within and not without, because it's like, it's not other people don't need to tell you what to do. Other people don't need to tell you about you. Yes, other people are going to tell you about you, but it's not like, oh, well, I'm living for such and such, or you're living for such and such. No, we're living for ourselves. The whole point of even being around other people so that they can reflect to us, how we show up. And then from there, we can make the choice of, okay, how do I want to navigate this? Do I want to make some changes? Do I just want to leave it alone? Or is it more so their perception? Like, what is it, But for me, like, I think, like, going back to the seed of not letting other people's perception, not caring what other people think about me, letting that be the catalyst to, I need to live. I need to live. I need to express myself. I need to just be sunshine. That's just what I need to do. And from there, that's just what I kept on doing. Like, I'm like, okay, like, I noticed that I feel uncomfortable conversing with other people. Let me work on that. I would challenge myself. I think the biggest thing that also helped me go from just existing to living was accepting the challenges. Because before, I would just see challenges as setbacks. I would just see challenges as another reason to, like, life. But then when I'm like more aware and more understanding and seeing the intention of challenges, like, you know what, people keep talking to me even though I feel really awkward, but instead of me just trying to find a reason to run away from the conversation, let me work on my conversation skills. Let me work on learning how to converse with people. Let me learn how to talk to different people that I'm not used to, or talk to the people that I am used to, because even then I still feel kind of weird talking to them. And so I viewed challenges instead of setbacks or blockages or just like an inconvenience of life. I started to view challenges as opportunities. I saw challenges as an opportunity. I saw them as a chance to be able to work on myself, especially the things that I was like, you know what, I do want to change this about myself. And I think also too, I took responsibility. Like at the end of the day, yes, a lot of this happened when I was young, when I was a child. So, I wasn't very aware of it happening. It just happened. But it's not even like, okay, I'm gonna point the finger, it's a blame game, but it's just more so an understanding of, okay, this is what happened, but let me see how I can shift it, because that's what happens in life. Things change. Things are supposed to change. Everything is going to change, right? Everything changes. Even inanimate objects change too. Like the first iPhone is not the same iPhone that is of today, right? And during the summer, the trees are blossoming. During the winter, the leaves of the trees are gone, unless it's an evergreen, right? Unless it's an evergreen tree. But my point is, there's cycles, right? There's cycles. There's shifts throughout life. And even the things that do last forever, they still go through their changes too. And that's what gives them their power. That's what gives us our power, by being able to embrace the cycles and the changes and the shifts, and knowing that it's still us that's navigating these changes. Going away for college, something I love to do is I love adventuring. I love adventuring. Is that a word? I love adventures. I love exploring different things. What I love so much about like going to like to different places and, you know, doing something new is that it gives me a different perspective on life. It gives me a different experience. That's why we love movies. That's why we love TV shows. That's why we even love scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, because we get the chance to tap into another experience. We get the chance to tap into another perspective of life, right? And one way to do that is through traveling. Like, that's something like I genuinely enjoy doing, is traveling. Like, it's so funny, like even when I would like watch TV shows, I remember like my favorite type of episodes would be like when the cast members would like travel somewhere different, like to a whole other country or a whole other like place, because it was just different from where like the main like storyline took place. So something I genuinely enjoy doing is like going to different places. It doesn't even have to be like another country. It could just even be like a different side of town, going somewhere different and like seeing like different things. And for me, I chose to go to school in New York City. I went to NYU. Okay, I just recently graduated in May of 2024. And honestly, I feel like that was just such like a great, like, it was a great experience. I genuinely enjoyed my college experience for sure, hands down. I love that, especially like New York City alone is a beast on its own. Like you're in for an adventure, point blank, period. So it's like going to New York, I was definitely like, oh my god, like this is like a playground. Like there's just so many places I can go and see, and people I can meet, and people I can talk to, and really put what I've been working towards and doing to the test. And I feel like just going to school there, it helped me elevate my energy like so much more. But it's not even New York City itself that made me like how I am now. It's more so the work I was doing within. It's the work that I've been doing prior to me going to New York. Because if I still had the same mindset I had, let's say even prior to like 2018, when I'm just here, I'm just living, I'm existing, I probably would have had a shitty ass time in New York. And I probably would have transferred and moved back to Maryland, because that's where I'm from. I probably would have moved back to Maryland and been like, no, like it's too much, it's too chaotic, it's too dirty, it's too stinky, it's too da-da-da-da-da. I don't know anybody there, I would have found every excuse in the book to come back and just, you know, stay where I was, just basically stay and live the same life as how I used to, but just even more miserable, right? Just finding more reasons to find why life sucks. And it's like, there's always going to be something that sucks, whether it be traffic, whether it be your nail broke, whether it be, you know, breakups, whether it be, you know, just people in your life acting crazy, people dying, the world being crazy. There's always going to be something that sucks. And it's like, it's not even that we shouldn't acknowledge or experience the suckiness of life, but it's more so knowing that we don't have to stay there. It's knowing that we don't have to stay stuck, and knowing that we have the power to move and navigate different spectrums of life. But thank you for tuning in and chit-chatting.
If you or a loved one is struggling with depression or any other forms of mental disturbance, please reach out to a trusted loved one or a crisis hotline such as the mental health services by dialing 998 or talk to them via text. Also, look up local crisis centers to get help from those in your community. Stay strong. You got this.
Thank you for tuning in and chit-chatting with me. You'll definitely be seeing more of me. But in the meantime, stay fly, never be dry, okay? And always be fierce. See ya.